And in the studio with me today, right now, is Steve Cobble. He is the co-founder of Progressive Democrats of America, pdamerica.org. You're also an associate fellow with the Institute for Policy Studies, pdamerica.org, the website. Tim Carpenter also would have been here with us today. He wasn't able to be available, but we send our very best regards to Tim. And Steve, great to have you with us.
Great to be here, Tom. Thanks.
So what is PDA up to right now?
Well, we just had our 8th roundtable over on Capitol Hill.
What is a roundtable?
Roundtable's where it was one of Tim's ideas. It was to get together activists and congressional members and their staffs to talk about ways we could push the Congress a little bit, educate them, try to move them on issues that we care about that often don't get talked about on Capitol Hill because, as you know, money talks louder than people. Yeah. And so we started meeting once a month, 8 months ago, to do that. And today, for instance, we talked about the letter drop that you've been helping with, that your last hour's video series, which I want to thank you for, by the way, since I think
thanks for
I've
spreading
watched
the word
it,
on
and it's this methane problem is, one that I think people know less about than the carbon problem, and we need to hear about it. So I'm glad you're doing it, and we will be dropping letters about the climate question. Pretty timely, given the Philippines typhoon and the devastation there, and
tragically timely.
Tragic timely, and so we're going to be doing that. We hope to hit 200 congressional offices with our letter next week, and so I want to thank you for that. And I want to take a personal note and thank you for. I know your book just came out, and I know you dedicated it to Tim as a great organizer, and I know that he appreciated it a lot, and it was a nice touch, so thank you for that. It's not often that organizers get dedications, and it was...
Well, it's not often that organizers get recognition, and it's organizers who change the world every single time.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree.
Or they get the recognition, 50 years later.
Right.
You look back, oh, that's Susan B. Anthony. She was wonderful when she was, the day that she got arrested, she had what, 12 people with her? I mean, it was,
right. That's exactly right. So, it was a nice touch that you did, and it was generous, and I know Tim appreciates. So thanks.
Well, thank you. So you said you had we're talking with Steve Cobble, the co-founder of Progressive Democrats of America, pdamerica.org. You had a roundtable with activists and members of Congress. What happened?
Representative Grayson came by, did some talk about the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or whatever they call it.
And the WikiLeaks revelations.
Yeah, the WikiLeaks revelations, and the fact that this secret agreement that benefits investors, which I know you've talked about numerous times already. The interesting thing is that because they have to go to fast track authority, and even Congress people that might be convinced to vote for the agreement itself, if it came to a vote because of the power of money, are not sure they want to just delegate authority to the president on a secret agreement that nobody's really seen yet. So there's a real chance of defeating this thing on both sides of the aisle. It could be one of these left-right votes that we've seen on the NSA.
Just like the NSA vote.
Exactly. And
although the NSA vote
didn't quite make it. But we had a different one when we did the Farm Bill vote, which Jim McGovern led the fight on the left because he was angry about the SNAP cuts, and some of the guys on the right didn't think that there were enough cuts to the whole thing. And so in June, we were able to defeat that, and we played a role in that. Now, SNAP cuts are still in play, as you know, and that was another subject that came up. Representative Barbara Lee came and talked about how we were continuing to fight because people still need their food stamps, and there is provision to put this ridiculous idea that you have to get a job in order to get food stamps, which is, if there was full employment, that might have some logic to it, but at a time when African Americans are suffering from double-digit unemployment, the idea that you can't get food stamps till you get a job, and you can't get a job at all, is just a way of saying we're taking away your food stamps. So,
and it's not just African Americans.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly.
Cuts across all. But although you're right, minorities are bearing the brunt of this, which is one of the reasons why it's actually popular in Republican circles to talk about cutting food stamps.
You're right. Although the interesting thing is, you take a place like South Dakota, North Dakota, almost all white states, they still have double-digit people living in poverty, getting the SNAP program. Yeah. They don't know that it's the Republican Party taking away their kids' food.
Right.
in a regular system, the Democratic Party would let them know that that's the case. But since nobody in America talks about poverty, and the press doesn't talk about it much, with current company accepted, these people don't understand why their kids' food is being taken away or about to be taken away. It seems to me actually there's an opening there for Democrats and progressives to let the white people of South Dakota know that the Republicans don't care if their kids get their food.
Yeah.
It's not African Americans in South Dakota that are bearing the brunt.
Tragically, a lot of them are watching national media on television, and they're listening to nationally syndicated shows. And I realize this is a nationally syndicated show, and we appreciate every station we're on. That said, I do believe that a city without local programming is a city that is it's the media equivalent of a food wasteland.
Right.
These neighborhoods where the only thing you can eat are from 7-Elevens, from national chains. Basically, there's not local food stores that are offering good locally grown food. We need to have local media as well in these local markets, and I'll bet that there's large chunks of North and South Dakota where the people are not hearing that the Republicans are taking the food out of their children's mouths because nobody's doing any local news.
That's right. No, they're hearing about whether it's going to be Hillary Clinton versus Chris Christie for president 3 years from now,
right,
as if that's the most pressing issue.
Right.
They're not hearing about the fact that there's no serious climate change legislation on the table, even though that's the thing that's most going to affect their agriculture in the next 10, 20 years. Their kids are not going to be able to have farms the way they do in South Dakota, right, because the climate's going to change. And no one on Capitol Hill I shouldn't say no one, very few people on Capitol Hill are spending any time worrying about that. And they don't hear that every day.
Right. So what's next for Progressive Democrats of America, pdamerica.org?
Well, we have the letter drop coming up, as I told you. We just helped.
What is a letter drop?
Letter drop, is our volunteers take a one-page letter that addresses their local congressperson or senator. We deliver it to the local offices, and we say, here's the things that we've been talking about and we care about this week, and we would like you to take action on. And we hit 3 or 4 issues every month that are important. And this month, for instance, we just joined with 12 other groups and 700,000 petition signatures, and PDA was part of a delegation, just stopped by Paul Ryan's office and dropped off the petitions that said, hands off Social Security.
How many petitions did Paul Ryan get?
I heard 700,000. So it was, and I think they're still collecting it.
You guys are messing around.
Social Security Works was the lead on this. Alex Lawson was a point person, and they
Alex
did a great job.
Guy.
Yeah, they did a great job, and they're trying to go on offense, not just defend Social Security from cuts, which we have to do, but put the argument out there that we need to be expanding Social Security because the private pension system has fallen apart, and people are not going to be able to retire.
Since the so-called Reagan reforms.
Exactly, that's right.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I've heard you before, and you're exactly right about that.
It's nuts. And of course, the ultimate pension program is Social Security, and President Eisenhower used to brag about expanding it, and now we got Republicans who want to turn it over to Wall Street, privatize it. The Republican Party that has gone insane. It's tragic. Steve Cobble, the co-founder of Progressive Democrats of America, pdamerica.org is the website. Also an associate fellow with the Institute for Policy Studies. Great group here. Steve, thanks so much.
Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Twitter is @PDAmerica.